Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Baby Britain feels the best, floating over a sea of vodka, separated from the rest. Fights problems with bigger problems, sees the ocean fall and rise, counts the waves that somehow didn't hit her, water pouring from her eyes. Alcoholic and very bitter, for someone half as smart. You be a work of art, you put yourself apart. I can't help until you start. We knocked another couple back, dead soldiers lined up on the table, still prepared for an attack. They didn't know they'd been disabled. I felt a wave of rush of blood. You won't be happy till the bottle's broken. You're out swimming in the flood. You kept back, you kept unspoken, for someone half as smart. You'd be a work of art, you put yourself apart. I can't help until you start.
You got a look in your eye when you're saying goodbye, like you wanna say hi.
The light was on, but it was dim. Revolver's been turned over, and now it's ready once again. The radio is playing Crimson and Clover. London Bridge is safe and sound, no matter what you keep repeating, and nothing's gonna drag me down to a death that's not worth cheating for someone half as smart. You be a work of art, you put yourself apart. I can't help until you start, for someone half as smart. You be a work of art, you put yourself apart.
Oh, that sounded so beautiful. It's Seth Avett and Jessica Lea Mayfield singing songs of Elliott Smith. The album just came out. Seth Avett and Jessica Lea Mayfield sing Elliott Smith. And I know I said I'd have you play a couple songs and then I'd talk to you, but I can't wait to ask a question. I know that you two have known each other for quite a while and have toured together. And I'm just kind of wondering how the idea for this record came up. I'm sure the thought of working together, doing anything is exciting. You complement each other so well. But how did Elliott Smith songs rise to the top?
Well, we had known each other for a little while before we realized we were Elliott Smith fans, and then once that kind of happened, it might have been related to my dog. We're not sure, but I adopted a dog and named him Elliott, and I probably was like, I got this dog, and I was probably gushing about him, and then Seth guessed.
Yeah, just I said, what's his name? And she said Elliott, and I was immediately after Elliott Smith, and she said, yeah, and I was like, really? I was just kind of making a joke, and that started the infinite conversation of just talking about his songs and how much we love them. Yeah.
Did you just start by, jamming around and playing? Did you know right away, hey, I think maybe we can make a record doing this?
We definitely didn't start with thinking that we'd make a record. It definitely started with a very gradual increase of feeling natural singing the songs and playing the songs, but we figured out a song called Twilight first, and that happened very naturally, just in a backstage somewhere when Jessica was opening for the band, and it felt very right and very alive to me anyway, and so we just went from there. We just started with Twilight, and then that led to another one, and another one, another one. Before you know it, we were trying to make an album.
There are so many songs to choose from. I don't even know how I would put it down to 12. Did you just more or less choose songs that were your favorites, or ones that you thought you sounded good together?
It started with favorites, and just kind of, there were so many, it just kind of started all at once with, at least in my opinion, I think we were just having fun with the idea and the thought of singing and playing together and playing these songs that we both really, really love. And I think it just went on, and kind of, for me, it was addicting to not listen to Elliott Smith and think like, well, could we do this one? Or I kind of had to shut that off after some point. And I think at one point I told you, like, I think we've got enough songs. Right. You're like, what about this one? And I'm like, well, how many have we recorded?
Right.
Did you record more than you put on the record?
A little bit, yeah, a few, 2 or 3.
I think Elliott had 7 albums. You have songs from all of them except for one, his self-titled album. Did you have access to everything, or did you even think about that? You just started with songs.
We did think about it, not initially, but after we got cranking. You'll notice on the record there's 4 from that last batch of songs he was working on that ended up in the posthumous record, From a Basement on the Hill. And that was where our conversation started, because Jessica and I both have a very intense love for the work he was making at the end of his life. But yeah, at some point we were like, we need to get further back than Figure 8 and start, try. It makes sense to think about representing as much of the catalog as we could in a sensible way.
Do you remember how each of you discovered the music, where you started listening and where you journeyed?
Yeah. I remember I first heard it in 1998. A close friend in college passed me a cassette tape with the song "Say Yes" on it, and was actually asking me if I could transcribe it for him. So I was early in my relationship with Elliott Smith's music. I was aware of how simple some of the songs sounded, but it had, if a song sounds like it has 3 chords, it has 8 or 9 probably. So that was clear right in the beginning for me.
His guitar work is deceptively intricate because it sounds very, very simple.
The king of passing chords.
Seth Avett and Jessica Lee Mayfield are live here in the KEXP studios. I want to hear your story.
Oh, well, mine's, the first time I heard Elliott Smith was somebody covering him, which is interesting to think about now. But it was probably in summer of 2005, and I was a teenage girl hanging out with an older dude that was old enough to buy alcohol, and he was really into starting a band with me, and I really didn't like any of his songs, and I snuck him into my room one night, and he was quietly playing me all these songs. He had all his lyrics out, and I was just like, how do I get this guy out of my house? Like, I'm done. And then he played Elliott Smith's Clementine, and I was like, that's a really good song. And he was like, oh, that's not mine, it's Elliott Smith's. I'm thinking, of course. But then the next day he rode his bike over and brought me the self-titled CD. And
so it was almost an Elliott Smith cover band with him or nothing.
Yeah. That band never happened.
Well, I'm glad this band happened.
Yes.
And Seth Avett and Jessica Lee Mayfield sing Elliott Smith. You got another tune for us?
Yeah, we'll do Fond Farewell. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The light bright's now black and white, 'cause you took apart a picture that wasn't right. Pitch burning on a shining sheet, the only maker that you'd want to meet. A dying man in a living room, whose shadow paces the floor. We'll take you out in the open door. This is not my life, it's just a fond farewell to a friend. It's not what I'm like, it's just a fond farewell to a friend. We couldn't get things right, a fond farewell to a friend. just wanna dance. Good and evil match perfect, it's a great romance. And I can deal with some psychic pain if it'll slow down my higher brain. Veins full of disappearing ink, vomiting in the kitchen sink, disconnecting from the missing link. This is not my life, it's just a fond farewell to a friend. It's not what I'm like, it's just a fond farewell to a friend who couldn't get things right. A fond farewell to a friend. I see you leaving me and taking up with the enemy, the cold comfort of the in-between, a little less than a human being, a little less than a happy high, a little less than a suicide, the only thing that you really tried. This is not my life, it's just a fond farewell to a friend. It's not what I'm like, it's just a fond farewell to a friend who couldn't get things right. A fond farewell to a friend. This is not my life, it's just a fond farewell to a friend.
Oh, so beautiful. Seth Avett and Jessica Lee Mayfield sing Elliott Smith. They'll be doing that tonight at the Neptune Theater, and we are so excited to have them live here in the KEXP studios today, and also streaming live video at kexp.org. That song, Fond Farewell, comes from the album we were talking about, From a Basement on a Hill, which was made towards the end of Elliott's life, and he was going through a lot of painful things at that time, and so much of his music is intense, oftentimes heart-wrenching, but there's so much beauty there. I'm wondering how it feels to inhabit these incredible, intense songs, full of a lot of pain, many of them.
Well, how does it feel? It kind of depends on. They're so complex, and there's so much there that you can pretty much take it anywhere, really. You know, I mean, if you check in just lyrically and just in the poetry of it. You can even enjoy that, even if it's a sad theme or a rough theme. But you can check in lyrically, you can check in aesthetically, you can check in just with the music. We were talking on the bus actually just before we came in here about like you wouldn't even really need to speak English to be able to connect somehow listening to his music. You know, there's just so much there. So
he has a lot of realistic honesty, you know, and it's like he's not afraid to be open about his darkness or to, you know, shake other people in a sense where some songwriters want to sugarcoat things. And with his music, I always liked how, you know, it's like, yeah, bad things happen, you know, people, you know, make mistakes or they have hard lives, you know, and that's in the music. But
you can find hope in there too.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
are hopeful lyrics. It's not all just a drag, you know. There's just so much there.
Memory Lane kind of has started making me sad during the shows.
Oh yeah.
I've noticed, like, and that's the thing, like you're saying, if you check into the lyrics too much, you know, it's kind of just like spending a week on like a Elliott Smith binge, you know.
I've been on many of those.
Yes.
I discovered the music early, and it's interesting because even though there's a lot of pain for him behind it, and we've all experienced some degrees of sadness and sometimes loss in our life, I feel nothing but joy when I listen to the songs. I don't know if it's the melodies but I've listened to them, you know, weeks on end, back to back, and they fill me with joy.
That's the entire construct of like genuine blues music. You know, if you listen to Robert Johnson, you can feel really good, but if you check in there's a lot of darkness there and a lot of sadness there. But I think it's a kind of a common theme, an interesting one. But I don't think that it's necessarily that unique to feel good listening to sad music. You know?
Well, I like it because it's something, if you're sad, I mean, you can have someone's music to,
Have
that's
some
what
company.
music is for,
Yeah.
kind of, is so you can relate to it and it can make you feel certain ways that, you know, might not have even been intended by the songwriter.
He was a very wonderful songwriter in whole, not just with his lyrics, and we talked about how deceptively simple his songs seem, and then they're not.
Right, yeah.
And I know that that's true also of the melody. It makes me wonder how you approached it. Some of his earlier albums, of course, very spare with his voice and guitar, and he built up instrumentation. Much of it he played himself in his later records, and you chose a lot of those songs for the record, but you made them somewhat spare, like his earlier stuff.
Right, yeah. I don't know, we just tried to look at each song as a new project, you know. I feel like the covers that I love, the interpretations of original songs that I love, like normally are kind of dancing along a line where they're representing the original source, but they're also finding their natural voice in it. It wouldn't make any sense for us to attempt to make like a Xerox copy of it, you know, and it also wouldn't make sense to get so far away from the source that you lost the original sentiment. So we were trying to kind of toe that line a little bit. But yeah, every song was a kind of a new project and finding out what worked in this sense.
Well, you're honoring the songs, and you do such a lovely job.
Thank you for saying so.
We'd love to hear another one.
Yeah.
We'll do Pitseleh. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Joke I've been dying to tell you. A silent kid is looking down the barrel to make the noise that I kept so quiet. Kept it from you, Pitseleh. Missing from your life now. I could never be the puzzle pieces. They say that God makes problems just to see what you can stand before you do as the devil pleases. Give up the thing you love. No one deserves it. Saw you, I knew it would never last. I'm not half what I wish I was. I'm so angry, I don't think it'll ever pass. And I was bad news for you just because I never meant to hurt you.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps. Seth Avett and Jessica Lea Mayfield live in the KEXP studios tonight. They'll be at the Neptune Theater. Your voices sound so beautiful together.
Thank you.
And, one of my favorite things about Elliott Smith albums are the way his voices are multi-tracked, and you two seem to replicate that or achieve that effect with your voices together. And I'm curious how that came about. Did you think about trying to replicate that effect, or did it just kind of come instinctively?
I think, you know, a lot of it is just us, you know, enjoying singing together, trying to have both of us, you know, be present. And also some of that when we were recording, it was definitely noticing where harmonies might, you know, be nice to have.
No doubt. Yeah, I think like what he was doing was you know, that technique, as well as I know, he heard John Lennon doing it, and you know, this unison thing. It's the same vocal line; they're just happening at the same time, unison. And it's weird how those two voices can feel at once very lonely, but still be two voices. But Jessica and I, we don't really. I don't know. I might be speaking out of turn, but I feel like we both come from backgrounds where if there's two voices, then it's normally harmony, you know, come from a family band or coming from gospel music, or I don't know, that's our natural approach. And really it was more or less like, well, which ones sound good lonely? If it sounds right lonely, well, it'll just be one voice, you know. And then if there needs to be some other texture, some more body to it, we'll find a harmony. And interestingly enough, as we started kind of working it out, we found, I think, new dimensions of the melodies Elliott Smith would write, because some of the harmonies come across really odd in a really cool kind of way. If we just do our natural thing and find the third or the fifth or whatever, his melodies were as such that they create, even though he didn't record them, they create these really interesting harmonies. I think that last song shows that a little bit.
Did you come across anything when you were working on some of the songs where you're like, I don't know what he's doing here. We're just going to have to do what we're going to do.
Certainly. I think there's a lot of customizing it for us. You know, there's only, you know, we can only, for me, I can only do things so much my own way. You know, it's almost like, where can I fit in this, you know, into this song? How do I fit? Not so much, you know, trying to replicate it.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah,
we just can't.
Couldn't.
We cannot replicate him for a lot of reasons. I mean, there's the obvious soul reasons of it, but also, I mean, he would bend melodies, and I mean, I spent so much time studying really, really badly filmed YouTube videos of Elliott Smith playing and finding like the same song 4 times, and he's hitting different chords almost throughout the whole song. You know, and you can tell some of that is on purpose. Some of it maybe is because he's nervous. Some of it is just it's that day he interprets it a different way, and it's really amazing and really beautiful for whatever the reasons are. But yeah, it makes it very difficult to follow.
Oh, it kind of sounds fun.
It is. It is fun. It is fun because then it's a whole different challenge. Like, how do we represent this? You know, and keep to the original, but make it to where we can sing it and it not sound just totally wrong. You know.
Sounds like this is a project that you spent some time on. Did you? How long were you working on this?
About 3.5 years.
All right.
Yeah, on and off when we could.
Yeah. We're both, awfully busy, but I mean, it might be a 4-day section, and then 10 months later another 3-day section or something like that.
Well, that's corresponding in between.
Yeah, sending voice memos to each other, talking about, hey, what about this one? Do you like that one? And yeah, I like that one. What about that in B or something? You know.
Well, what a nice touchstone for your friendship.
Yeah, no doubt. Kept us in touch.
You got time for one more?
Totally.
Absolutely, yeah.
Between the Bars?
Let's do it.
Drink up, baby, stay up all night with the things you could do. You won't, but you might. The potential you'll be, but you'll never see the promises you'll only make.
Drink up with me now and forget all about the pressure of days. Do what I say and I'll make you okay and drive them away. The images stuck in your head. People you've been before, separate from the rest, but I like you the best. Keep the things you forgot. People you've been before that you don't want around anymore. They push and shove and won't bend to your will. I'll keep them still.
Oh, so beautiful. And what such respect to the beauty that he brought to his craft. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Seth Avett and Jessica Lea Mayfield live here in the KEXP studios. And tonight they're playing at the Neptune. Tomorrow you'll be down in Portland at the Crystal Ballroom. You've selected some beautiful rooms to portray.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, like you said, there's a lot of beauty in the source of this stuff. So, wanted to pick rooms that could accommodate it well. You know.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. It's always so great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You've got it tuned to KEXP Seattle.
Discover great music at kexp.org.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?